so the day after the eclipse, I was here working on the house, and Dad was like, son, I had a dream last night, and it was so vivid. I was like, oh, cool, tell me about it. And he said, well, I dreamed that there were these 7 suns on the horizon, and they were slowly setting, just descending beneath the horizon, and then they were gone. And then one big massive sun started ascending above the horizon, and he said it came to him that the 7 suns were like the old powers of darkness going away, and that the one sun was the lady, God, the new reign returning, and that we were entering the shift into the age of Aquarius with the eclipse. I was like,
whoa,
damn.
Whoa.
Okay. And ever since, Dad's been like, we shifted. It was the eclipse. We're in the age of Aquarius. So I've been like, yes, sir. Like, you know, I take his dreams seriously. But yeah, Emily didn't know that. It's just kind of hard for us to communicate all the time when Dad lives in Fayetteville, and then we live here in Wilmington, and then Emily lives in Florida, and Jeremy lives in Greenville. So
yeah, and
obviously Junior's in Fayetteville. But
yeah,
Emily just heard that last night.
I heard that last night because we were watching Labyrinth, which is one of my very favorite movies of all time. Ryan would never watch it with me growing up.
I just saw it for the first time like this year.
What'd you think?
It was awesome.
It was wild.
Yeah, it was really cool. Because, well, you remember we watched Neverending Story for the first time like last year or the year before, something like that. And I fell in love with that. Yeah. And Labyrinth seemed like a similar vibe.
I've got a whole list of like those kinds of movies that have been like recommended to me, like Legend, Dragon Slayer, a few others.
Like dark fantasy movies?
Yeah. The Sword and the Sorcerer.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I love that vibe.
Labyrinth, I've seen it more times than I could ever try to count. It was one of my comfort movies when all the UFO stuff was happening. I watched it like every day.
There was like a 50-50 chance that I could hear Labyrinth coming out of your bedroom. No, that's like not an exaggeration.
I always was.
It was either Ocarina of Time sounds or Labyrinth.
Or Skyrim.
Or Halo.
Yeah.
Skyrim or Halo,
That's funny. Yeah. Yes, no,
it's like the only 2 games you ever played.
Labyrinth so much. I know all the words. But Ryan finally watched it with me, and I
told you the dream.
You told me the dream, and I was like, wait. What I've been, you know, for the past few weeks, I've been trying to figure out, like, what does that mean? That out of body thing that happened to me. What does that mean? And now I'm like, okay, it's coming together, because I don't remember, and I can't find it. But I'll just say this particular part. So I'm in. It looks like space, right? It's like kind of bluish, dark. Everything's dark, but I'm on this platform, and this platform looks very like 80s, like 90s, like platform with like the grid.
Oh yeah,
like
that,
just an old school
Tron,
like a Tron grid.
Yeah.
But I'm in space, and I'm on just this platform, and I'm looking at myself, and I'm just looking up. And then I kind of swivel around and see myself. And in front of me that I'm looking at is a massive sun that had just risen above the platform. And it was right in my face. And I just said, and it resounded around me. But it was like I said it, but also everything around me said it. While I'm staring at the sun, it said, I am a daughter of the sun. And I was like back in to myself looking at the sun, and I was like, I'm a daughter of the sun. Whoa. I don't know why, but I was like,
this happened during Creation Station?
Yeah.
Oh my.
And this isn't the point of Creation Station.
Yeah.
When we go back to the debrief, I was like, yeah, mine was good. Like, I didn't know what to say, so I've just been kind of marinating on that. But I was like, I am a daughter of the sun. And then Dad's dream with the new sun rising.
Yeah.
You ever see that meme of, like, I think it's like Matthew McConaughey when he's like smoking a cigarette and he looks really stressed out? Yeah. He's like 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah.
That's how I was at the first debrief. Or at the debrief after I left my body for the first time. I was like,
yeah, it was really cool.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It was kind of crazy.
Yeah. So that's casual.
You just found out about the dream
last night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And something about the platform at the end of Labyrinth. It doesn't look like that, but something about that felt
Which
very
platform?
synchronistic. At the end where she's like, you have no power.
Oh,
over
right.
me.
And they're kind of like in space and there's pillars around
it just
them.
felt the vibe.
Yeah,
was
that was a
kinda
wild movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Didn't they recently like remake it or make some new game or something?
I think that was like a...
Is the original one called Labyrinth Dark Crystal, or is those two different things?
They're
two different movies.
Okay.
Yeah. Dark Crystal's another one
I've never seen that
that
one.
we're supposed to watch.
I've seen it.
I thought it'd be cool. I had the idea last night, like, what if we
I loved it.
do like a dark fantasy episode?
Yeah.
Sick.
You should.
Like we've done a cosmic horror, we could do like a dark fantasy episode.
Yeah, I'd love
That'd be
that.
cool,
I haven't
right?
seen enough dark fantasy movies though, so.
But see, that's the objective.
Homework.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to watch more dark fantasy movies.
Yeah, I do. I've only seen
Well, I mean,
a couple.
dude, Dark Souls.
Can you break what is
Elden
that?
Ring,
Yeah,
you've
true.
consumed so much
True.
in other
Okay.
mediums. What's up?
Can you give me like an example of a movie that I may have seen that would fall into that
That you
category?
may have seen?
That's
Lord of the
a
Rings?
stretch.
Is Lord of the Rings dark fantasy?
No, I
but
would
wait a
consider
minute.
that fantasy.
That's just fantasy.
But he hadn't seen them.
I know.
I've seen a little bit of them.
I can't.
I will give you that. I don't know, man, because dark
Upsetting.
fantasy was like really, really popular in the 80s. And
I feel like dark fantasy is specifically the 80s movies with the practical effects and the puppets and
just the vibe.
yeah. Like,
Black Cauldron.
Did you watch Neverending Story when we did the okay. That's definitely dark fantasy
Yeah.
for sure. I would say.
The Dark Crystal, obviously, which I have yet to see.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Legend.
it either.
Legend is supposed to be.
I don't even-
There's another
Willow.
one. Willow.
Never seen it.
Dude,
They're all so good.
Willow. I've been saying that one for years. Y'all gotta watch Willow.
I love Willow.
Yeah, it's a Lucasfilm.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, and apparently Labyrinth was, and Dark Crystal.
Labyrinth
and,
is probably the silliest of all of those.
It is very silly. It's
Yeah,
very
but it was
campy.
dark though.
Yeah.
It had its moments. There was at one point when she fell down into this horrific hellhole and was in this like bacchanalia party where they all had these like Rothschild style masks and they were all just like taunting her. It had some very dark, like subtle undertones, you know?
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
No, we had a good time. Anyway, I don't think you've seen a dark fantasy, Alex, but
It's like
sick, bro.
I would say it's a niche kind of
specific.
oh yeah.
very hyper specific genre.
Berserk
is probably
It's definitely
like,
dark fantasy.
It's like a dark fantasy anime.
Yeah. It's like the dark fantasy anime.
Yeah, I would say so.
New obsession much?
What?
Dark fantasy.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I was just letting you know.
Thanks for letting me know, man.
I'm out of the kaiju phase for the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm on dark fantasy.
Okay.
Hey,
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're
Sorry.
good. Just take the wheel.
I was trying to remember what I was gonna say, but I wanted to add something about synchronicities with the Arthur stuff, King Arthur.
Oh yeah, I'd
and
love to
that
hear
kind of
your
stuff.
take.
I haven't actually gotten yet to listen to y'all's Arthur episode, but I was listening to Merlin, and okay, Bledsoe Castle. Y'all talked about that a little bit, right?
Oh, this is weird.
Did y'all talk about that yet?
Not in the episode.
I didn't think so, which is why I wanted to
that
bring
kind
it
of
up.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ryan was talking about how King Henry VII of England, the first Tudor king, was famously known for trying to trace his roots back to King Arthur.
Mm-hmm.
Well, King Henry VII's mother, Lady Margaret, was born at Bledsoe Castle. That's her family.
Wow. That's crazy.
And we have connection to Bledsoe Castle.
Yeah.
I can't say 100.
The first guy that came to America from England, the first Bledsoe in America, he was the owner of Bledsoe Castle.
And that's from our roots, is Bledsoe. It's with a T, Bledsoe.
Yeah.
And I thought about this the other day because Dad sent me a thing that Bledsoe Castle was for sale. And I was panicking. Like, oh my gosh. How am I going to acquire my ancestral home of
it's got to
Bledsoe
be
Castle?
millions and millions of dollars.
It's 3.2 million pounds.
Okay.
That's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
There's
really
houses
not
on
that
Wrightsville
bad.
Beach more than that.
I mean, there's $13 million houses.
I know.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
one house for $13
We should talk to
million.
some of our friends and see if they'll help me with
Y'all.
a bridge loan.
What is
This
3
is
million pounds?
Literally.
$6 million ish.
Oh.
But this is literally
It's just outside my budget.
A castle built in the 1300s.
I've got it pulled up.
And
I'm looking at it.
listen to this. This is another parallel. So King Henry VII was really into King Arthur. We're Bledsoe. His mom was born at Bledsoe Castle. Her dad was the duke that owned Bledsoe Castle. She was very famous. I'm very into Tudor history. I love history.
Her mother was famous too.
I have, yes. I have so many books and watch all the shows and movies about like royalty and especially like the Tudor line and literally that era. Okay. And so his mother was very famous for being like extremely religious. Like she was very devout and is portrayed in like pop culture as being like her faith in God was so strong that she's the reason he was put on the throne. Whoa. Because there was like the battle of the roses to see who would be placed on the throne, and it was like the mother's faith is what won and everything worked, and he became the king.
Whoa.
And that's just like really interesting because I don't know, I don't even know 100% for sure if I'm related to her, but you know, the connection is there somehow. And it's just cool that she has that like that famous reputation for being so being so faithful. Oh my gosh,
it's like her faith in her son or her faith in God. Like
she was like very devout Catholic. This was before Protestantism because King Henry VIII is the one who brought Protestantism. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No. So it's like she obviously had faith that her son was like meant to be the king. Yeah. And she had faith that God would fulfill that. And it was like that undying.
Since he was like a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like that undying faith kind of thing.
Yeah. Which is really cool. And then I had a synchronicity pop up and I kept wondering like, why is this Bledsoe Castle stuff popping up? It feels like it's related somehow to my Monroe stuff. I don't know why yet, but it just felt relevant. And so then I kept getting this thing pop up and I was like, what is this? There's this castle in Slovenia called Bled Castle.
Bled? B-L-E-D?
B-L-E-D.
Bled Island, right?
Well, there's a town called Bled in Slovenia, and there's a castle called Bled Castle overlooking the lake, and in the center of the lake is the Church of Bled, which is the Ascension of Mary Church, which is like about the mother.
This is beautiful.
And a lot of Bledsoes come from Bled Castle too in Slovenia, and so I'm like, what's going on? And if you look at pictures of Bled Castle,
it looks like what I saw.
It looks like what he saw when he was at Monroe.
Yeah, because I didn't really talk about this on our Monroe episodes. There's a lot in here I didn't want to talk about, but I'm gonna try to find this. But at one point when I was out of body, I had to ask my higher self, like, where did this begin for me? And I saw myself on a castle over the water, and the word popped into my mind, Merlin's Tower. And I was like, maybe this, I don't know what the fuck this means. But it looked exactly like the castle over the water.
Literally.
I want to see. Can you pull it up, Alex? I want to see what it looks like.
It's so beautiful. It looks like a fairy tale. Bled Castle is just this castle. It's now a museum. It was built in the 1100s or the 1000. And it's overlooking
that's gorgeous
lake with the Ascension of Mary Church in the middle. And so I'm like, okay.
Yeah, the church is beautiful too.
Ascension of Mary Church. I need to know more about.
I think that's what. Can you look up if that's exactly what it's called? But it's something like not Ascension of Mary. The I'm sorry. What is it? It'll come to me. But
that's crazy. The Ascension of Mary thing obviously makes me think of like the Da Vinci Code. You know,
which Jack is reading right now.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Assumption of Mary.
Assumption
of Maria Church.
Yeah,
Assumption of Maria Church.
Yeah, I can't find
the tickets are only $13.19.
Oh, I found it.
Field trip.
Let's go.
Yeah, for $42.60, Bled, Slovenia.
Well, what I've seen too is that people that came, I might be totally wrong. People came from there and went to England, and then a lot of the Bledsoes have come to America.
I found the so actually the owner of the castle in the 1600s was William Bledsoe, and then George Bledsoe, the first ever one to come to America and where we all descend from, is believed to be either the son or the nephew of William Bledsoe.
Okay.
Just to be clear, Bledcastle or Bledsoe Castle?
Yeah, which
The
one
one
are
in
you?
England,
Okay.
with a T.
Bledsoe.
But I found my
Sounds
thing in
beautiful,
the Monroe
It is
experience I
beautiful.
had. This was I believe it was a Focus 15, and it was just an exercise where, I set the intention to visit my wife because I asked Ignacio. They were like, you can go out of body and it's a free flow. You can go wherever you want to go. Maybe set an intention to see somebody and see what they're doing. So I was like, Ignacio, what do I do? He's like, go check on your wife. I was like, okay. And I had the intention to check on her. I did see her. I saw her painting in the bathroom, which I knew she was going to be. But I saw her painting in there. And I saw her like painting up on the ceiling by the shower. And she did. But then a part of me is like, well, I knew she was going to be in there. So maybe I was just imagining it. I tried not to think too hard about that. But I felt tingles in my body as if I was actually rising and falling. I said I set an intention to see my wife, but instead I went through a portal into a nonsensical world that looked like abstract cartoons. Oh, this was Focus 12, the first time I left my body. And then I kept... it showed me that, just by staying on the path about reaching my potential. And then I saw Egypt. I said, where do I begin? I saw Egypt. Then I saw a castle on a cliff over the ocean. I heard Merlin's temple. Then I felt like I was one with the stars in the night sky. My main affirmation was to see without fear. This was a much more gentle experience. I saw a glowing magical eye that felt like my inner eye. Also, I heard forget what you know. So I was a little freaked when you sent me the
Bledcastle thing.
I was like, wow.
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to figure out how we can purchase. I don't know if it's been purchased, but
we cannot
Bledsoe
purchase
Castle. It has a moat.
We don't have good enough.
It has a
credit.
moat. It has a tennis court. It's
Tennis
got
court.
beautiful equestrian sports,
Stables.
horseback riding.
It was renovated in the 1600s.
It's a
beautiful.
30-minute train ride to London.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
just out
I
in the
saw
countryside.
it must have been price reduced. I saw 2.7 million.
Oh, we're getting it.
Yeah, we're getting closer to
That's
the budget.
chump change.
We're getting it.
That's
It says,
chump change.
the coziest castle you'll ever find, with paddock, ancient moats, tennis courts, and a billiard room.
Listen,
Dude,
y'all.
if I had infinite money, I would buy it.
They just be.
I would buy it.
Like, I would
right
actually
now.
buy it.
I would buy
if
it. Right
I had
now.
that kind of
I
money.
would live there.
Yeah. Oh.
It's like technically a castle, but it just looks like a really big cottage.
Like an
Yeah,
estate.
it's like a manor.
I want to
That's
see.
cool.
Show me that one.
But
I
it's
haven't seen
technically
that
a
one.
castle.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, I mean, whatever you have to pay the people to mow the grass like this.
Just get a riding mower.
No. You get a riding mower.
Yeah, get a riding mower. Get a couple of them.
That's a lot of grass.
You could get
boy.
a horse-drawn mower.
Yeah, that's true.
That'd take all day to cut that grass. Just get my brother to do it.
Have you guys seen the like
There you
robot
go. Just
mowers
fly 'em
now?
out.
Yes.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was driving down the road the other day,
have
Carolina
not seen
Beach
that.
Road, or weeks ago, and I saw this little robot just cutting the grass on the highway. Like, what the hell?
They have
That's
them where they're
scary.
like Roombas where they just
Yeah.
go themselves, but they also make remote control ones
Oh, that's
where you just sit on your porch. And
that's
just,
cool, but I feel like I'd rather be driving the thing.
sure.
You know,
Yeah.
like at least I'm like pretending to play Mario Kart.
Have you seen the guys who have the podcast where they play in a sandbox with remote control like excavators and dump
No.
trucks?
No.
Yeah.
I would actually probably enjoy watching that for a little bit.
Dude, I kind of
For a little bit.
I kind of want one. No, they just kind of
Not a
hang
lot,
out,
but
and it's funny. Their objective is to use the excavator. They have a little pond that's full of ice and beers, and they
Oh.
pick them up with the excavator, put them in the truck, and then drive them to each other.
That's-
wheels and excavators.
I don't know what it's called,
Wheels and excavators.
but I keep seeing it. So yeah,
That'd be.
I kind of. Well, the point is, I want one of those remote control excavators.
Yeah,
Take me to
maybe
the beach.
your birthday is soon, so don't go getting any ideas.
You're either going to get a remote control excavator or you're going to get a castle in England.
Dude, you know what else I want?
For your birthday.
Just to make this about me, I want I want the flute that is tuned to like 432 hertz.
That
Okay.
Shane Gillis's brother
Yes.
has.
No, it's not his brother, I don't think, but yeah,
It's his brother.
No, it's not.
Man,
Oh.
they mock him, but like he's right.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
There
no,
is
I
something
want
to it.
I looked him up. I found the website.
You could tune a guitar or some drums.
Anything.
Or,
See, I just have problems playing instruments.
just get
But then I
get a
find
bowl.
one. Yeah, I have a singing bowl.
There you go.
The dog freaks out.
Really?
It's the demons in her.
Oh.
Right?
No.
It's purging her.
Yeah, I don't know.
She's a lycanthrope, dude.
Oh
Them's just fighting words, son.
Yeah, don't talk about Juno
Hey,
like that, bro.
hey.
Don't talk about my daughter.
She's an angel.
I don't
She
be
is.
hating on lycanthropes.
She's a precious little angel. She's not a lycanthrope, and she's not possessed by devils, dude. She's chill.
Yeah, I want one of those flutes. I want to do the same thing. I want to go up on my balcony at night and play it and have it echo through the marina, and people will be like, Where is that
Like,
coming from?
I'm hypnotized.
It'll heal the fish.
That'll be yeah.
It'll make the sharks happier.
It'll heal the
They'll be
nation.
like less aggressive
Yeah,
because
yeah.
there's sharks out in his backyard.
There are. You ever see them?
Yeah, my neighbor caught one.
What kind of sharks?
Like a 5-foot Atlantic sharp nose.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like the ones from Street
Thank God
Sharks.
it's not a sharp teeth.
No, their teeth are pretty sharp. I've caught one, but it was like 2 feet
Out there?
right out in front of my house.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Do you still go fishing out there?
Yeah, sometimes.
I'm trying to do that.
I really would like if like the three of us would get together and like go out on the boat sometime, just like before summer ends, you know,
Let's do
before we
Well,
lose
we're-
track of it and it's too late.
Don't worry, man, because we're about
Well-
to be in local summer.
Dude, I have not had a summer. I've been working on house and then traveling for a month, and I've been in America for 2 weeks now, and I'm like, I literally have not had a summer.
It's okay, man.
I haven't swam. I haven't.
Listen,
none of
we're,
that stuff.
We're about to be in local summer. It's Nick's first local summer.
And it's
Right.
been a great first summer here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done
It's
a lot.
hot.
I've done a lot of beaching. I've done a
Yeah.
lot of swimming. A lot.
I haven't.
It's been.
That's the life.
Don't be
It's been
beaching
nice.
to me about
It's not fair when you wait all year to like be able to swim, and then you're like so busy you don't get the chance to. And it's like I have to wait another year.
Yeah.
Just
Like
move
I
to
need.
Florida.
I tried
Yeah.
to swim yesterday.
Or
Jenny
get a
didn't want
wetsuit.
to
That's true.
get a wetsuit.
You're $300 away from swimming all year.
That's true. You know, my birthday did just pass.
That's one of those, personal purchases, I think. You have to make sure it's right.
Yeah, well, why don't you go get your own fucking excavator?
Oh my god.
All right, let's get back on track.
Yeah, Alan.
Oh
my gosh.
Oh, we
Damn,
love you,
dude.
Alan.
Oh, just right through the heart.
That got me so good.
I was in tears.
I think
Yeah.
the funniest part was I could see it. And I don't watch when I listen. I just listen. I could see the look on Chris Jr.'s face.
the smirk. It's the smirk. This thing.
Yeah.
He goes, "We love you, Alan."
He
And then
does
he
do
just-
that smirk. Teddy
Dude.
does it too.
That smirk.
Every
so
time
good.
I
Oh.
tag Alex for whatever reason in the Discord, like if someone makes a comment
It's so
and
good.
like, I want one of y'all to see it or something, sometimes I'll tag y'all in that comment if it relates to y'all. And there's been 2 or 3 times now that I'll tag Alex. I'll say the word Alex, and I'll get corrected by the people in the Discord.
Alan.
Yeah.
That's
Alan.
too good.
I have not once since that episode been able to reference Alex or comment his name without being corrected to
That's
say
when
Alan.
saying Alan.
And
Yeah.
just for a message to the people in our Discord and in our comments, don't stop.
Yeah,
Don't stop
Yeah,
that.
I've been
just-
on a YouTube episode
Please.
recently.
I
Yeah.
get scared every time I go in there now.
In where?
Oh, no.
In the Discord.
Are they making you uncomfortable?
No, I just know it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to just embrace it.
Hey, but Alexster's out and Alan's in, baby.
Well,
I think
It's
Alan
a turning
suits
of
you.
the tide.
yeah, Alan is a little bit softer.
It suits you.
Well, see, that's the problem. I don't like it.
Would you would you rather be Alexter or Alan?
Probably Alexster.
Oh, okay. Oh, all of a sudden you're cool with it.
Yeah, it's just when given a choice because I
The
just think
lesser
I think
evil.
about Michael Cera
more
in the
evil.
Barbie movie, and I'm like, I don't want to be that.
Oh, was his character's name Alan?
was
Yeah,
just
it's
Well, I
Alan.
mean, what about like,
And I bet you no one thought about it until I brought it up. Just
No,
now.
I did think about it,
Okay.
I didn't.
and now I'm thinking about it more. Like I'm confirmed now.
Yeah. Whatever. I've been called worse.
We love you, Alan.
I love me too.
You've also been called much better.
Yeah. I've been called a lot.
Yeah, you
I've
have.
never been called late for dinner.
Many are called, but few are chosen, though.
How did
So-
we get here?
Where do we go?
How did we
I don't
get
know.
here?
We started talking about Bledsoe Castle, and then
I've been trying to figure out something to share from my book here, and it is nonsense.
well,
It's all nonsense.
let's give it a shot.
Okay. Are you sure? Listen.
It's the ramblings.
Listen. Okay. A river vast and strong, from source all flowing in my favor, glowing different perspective platform. I am a daughter of the sun, creation coming to me, friends with the bird and animals and whales glowing me. The forest, the watch, the joy.
Oh,
that sounded like a Led Zeppelin lyric.
That's literally.
No, that sounded like slam poetry.
Yeah,
it really did.
Oh my god! Like literally, I don't know what to pick out of here. That's what it's all like.
The watch, the joy.
There is no greater act than remembering and becoming aware of who you really are.
Oh, but here's the thing.
Wow.
I bet you reading this stuff back, you remember
the feeling of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it only makes sense to you.
The bird, the animal.
A lot of it is like that.
The whales, glowing being, the forest, the watch, the joy.
Like that is
a lot of it is like that.
It's like when you
slam
wake
poetry.
up at 3 a.m. and write your dream down.
What
Yeah.
Well, what I love is from source, all flowing in my favor. Glowing different perspectives.
The problem too is like a lot of the stuff that you're experiencing is visual. You know, you're seeing things. You might be seeing symbolism or seeing flashes of memories, images, whatever. So then when you write it out, it can be like to someone else reading it, it's like.
But it's like trying to describe to somebody what being on mushrooms is like, or DMT, or acid, or something like that,
or a movie that you saw
can't
that's
really.
literally this visual experience. Yeah,
Right.
It's hard to translate, but
the stuff that happens even in like these like deeply meditate. It's like, okay, imagine getting into a super deep level of meditation or even out of body or whatever and trying to describe that to somebody.
Yeah.
Is like fishing for the words.
Right.
It's a deeply personal thing.
Right.
And like it's hard to convey that stuff.
Yeah.
So.
It's so personal. And it's like you at some point you're aware of your body, but you're not in it, and you can feel it, but you're not in it somehow. And then
exactly.
And then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to quit paying attention to you now. And then you're experiencing all this stuff. And then something jolts you and your body shifts and you're like, okay, I'm back in it. I'm back here. And that's something that happened to me that I kind of shared. I was like, my knees jumped up and buckled. It was like, okay, well, I'm back. And that happened to someone else, I think, in the group too. But
at the creation station?
Yeah.
Okay.
To maybe one or two other people, something like that. But that's not like the intention there. So that was
It's a byproduct.
Yeah. And I will say, like, this in particular, my overall experience, like, I had a lot of visual stuff, a lot of that kind of stuff. But the main takeaway for me was the perspective shift.
Yeah.
And that could literally mean, it could mean different things, but it could literally mean, like I said, when I was like on that platform, I wasn't just looking at the sun. I was also looking at myself from different angles, looking at the sun. And I was able to view myself in any way I wanted.
Yeah.
Or become the sun and look at myself as the sun. Like it's tapping into consciousness from any perspective.
Yeah.
Collective consciousness, like it's all
Right.
connected. Like
Right.
you could in theory view it from any perspective because like you are everything.
I had moments
Yes.
like that at the Gateway experience.
Yeah.
Where I was like seeing orbs from the perspective of being the orb.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I would see myself sometimes like from behind me or above me. Like not like live, like I'm walking around, like that's a raven. But I mean like in the meditations, you know?
Yeah.
But there were a few times, it was about the fourth day in, and by that point, you know, you're just so, I guess I could say like ungrounded because you've been leaving your body a few times and all these other exercises. I was laying down to go to bed one night, and I was like just laying there, and all of a sudden I was in the cafeteria. Like I felt like I was in the cafeteria, and I had what I felt like was a cup of coffee in my hand, and I was just in line like trying to get my food, and I was like, wait a minute, I haven't gone to bed yet. And I kind of snapped back, and I was still laying in bed. And I was like, what the fuck? And then the next day, I got up at 7 a.m. I let because they play speakers, or they have speakers in the wall, and they play frequencies overnight at the Institute for you to like have a deeper sleep. And then I think at like 6:30 sharp, every morning, Bob Monroe's voice comes on and is like, it's a great day, it's a beautiful day, it gives you little
you
morning,
are waking up.
Yeah.
You are slowly
it's a great day,
coming.
so get up and go. And it's
Yeah.
like just this really little wholesome, like, you know, take in all the gratitude of what you have to do before you. It's like this little morning exercise. But I skipped it most days because you know how I am with sleep. But on like the last day, I wanted to wake up as early as I could Well, you have the option. They tell you up front. It's like if you don't want it to wake you up at 6:30, you can turn off the speakers, so it's not blasting at 6:30.
He hitting that snooze.
So I had it wake me up 2 days, but on the last day I had that wake me up at 7 a.m. I jumped up, I made my cup of coffee, and I went and I sat by the crystal because I was like, this is my last day. I do not want to miss out on any moment of today. And when I was sitting at the crystal, I pulled up a lawn chair beside it, and I was just touching it, and I was just kind of like meditating, doing some of the exercises, sipping my coffee, and my brain started to get really fuzzy, and I felt like similar to when I was in bed the other night and I felt like I was in the cafeteria, it happened again. And I felt like I was in the night before, and I got very confused, like brain fog. And I was like, oh my God, like, I don't even know what time it is. And like when I closed my eyes, I felt like I was in the day before.
Whoa.
If that adds any to perspective to what you were saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like, there was this one time that this was when I was at Monroe, with the frequencies at night, I thought I wasn't asleep all night, and I didn't sleep the entire night, and I was like, what happened to me?
Oh, you thought you didn't fall asleep.
There's mind awake, body asleep, which is one of the states you can go into,
10.
which is where your body's asleep but your mind is awake, and that was me the entire night, and I was like, why can't I sleep?
Oh my God.
But I was just awake the whole time.
Oh, whoa.
But I slept.
That's trippy.
It was I was a little scared.
So do you wake up feeling rested?
I was rested.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Remember what I was saying? I know it's been a few months, but like we would be staying up till 3 a.m. many nights. Chris Ramsey doing magic, and Hannah and Marco and Amy and Hakeem and countless others. Brad, we would be hanging out and just like chopping it up till 3 a.m. and then go to bed, and we'd be like groggy as fuck in the morning. 8 a.m. breakfast. We go to class at like 9. Stumble into our room. We'd meditate for an hour, and by 10 o'clock, we're all like, I feel great. And we'd be meditating all day. So you're just resting all day.
Yeah.
You guys will see. When we do Creation Station, you're going to see.
Yeah. And I've had a little tiny bit of experience with like restfulness and theta wave like stuff, with the Schumann resonance. Like, they have
it's a similar frequency.
They have those. They have like specific ones that are geared towards specific outcomes or whatever. And one of them is it's called like restfulness, or it basically it makes it to where you don't need as much sleep. Like you get more rest.
Reduced sleep required.
That's what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly
they
what
took
it
those
is.
down.
Huh?
They took those down off Spotify and Apple Music.
Really?
Yeah. I found they were
The
like
theta
missing
waves?
from my library. That specific album.
Yeah, that specific one that I used to make your holistic voice.
Yeah, they removed it.
Reduces sleep required.
But
That's
the one I used with
I know.
Me too.
the twice born thing.
But if you guys might enjoy hearing this, but when we do Creation Station, we're going to be using Focus 10 and Focus 12.
Oh, so we're getting thrown in.
Well, that's the Focus 10's the first one.
Up to it. There's a progression.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's progressive.
It is. It's progressive. But again, like Creation Station is unique because it has nothing to do with trying to explore like leaving the body. It's specifically focused about creativity.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I learned about these different focus states is like, you can't think about it like, oh, this is focus 32, so it's more powerful. That's not the point.
No.
The point is they
functions.
They have different functions. And something that the Institute teaches is like, or at least, the instructors that I was with there, is that focus 12 is the most productive frequency. And it's because it's expanded awareness. So it gets you to that state of expanded awareness where you're thinking about things with a more divergent style of thinking.
I use that every day. When I'm working, just like throughout my day.
Yeah.
You can go out of body on 12, right?
That was, intro to out of body was focus 12. Yeah.
I do that while I'm working.
You absolutely can. But focus 12 is amazing. You're going to love it. It's like focus 10 is, again, this is just true probably across multiple Monroe programs, but focus 10 is, I imagine that's there to introduce you to the sensation of being in this deep meditative state, and experiencing it multiple times so that you, the participant, will say, okay, I understand what this feels like. I actually understand what it means to be in this state because I've done it a few times now. It's not me imagining something. I am actually mind awake, body asleep. Let's go further. in my experience, I don't want to like load what will happen to you because everybody's different. Just like if I have a cup of coffee right now and you have a cup of coffee right now,
it'll affect us differently.
They're just because of the hormones in our body and the time of day, you might be a little more sensitive right now than I am, and vice versa across any day.
Yeah.
It's the same with this, stuff. It just depends on the situation and you. And everybody is sensitive to this stuff in their own way, right?
Yeah. And I'll say another one of my big takeaways with this one, because I didn't have like any crazy visuals on all of them. And that's not always the intention.
Sometimes it's words.
The point isn't that you have to have a crazy astral Disney World experience.
No.
Right.
That's never the, like, you have to do that.
The point is you can.
You can. But that doesn't make your experience less important if you don't. Mm-hmm. And so one of my favorite things about this one for me was really tuning in to signals in my body.
Right.
Like signals coming through, things that for many years we've been kind of nodding to with the phenomenon stuff, especially Dad. He's always like, that sensation that you just mentioned, that's the phenomenon, or this is the consciousness, or this is that, or that is that. And so really tuning into that information as
You'll be aware of yourself differently.
Being aware of your body as information, like that specific tingle or that little poke. Literally, I'm not joking. I'm laying there and I had, out of nowhere, this has never happened, just the sharpest pain ever in my right foot. And it was so bad. I was like, and had to take a second and then calm myself and say, this is information. And ask that sharp pain, like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing here? I'm not mad at you. Can I understand? 33 on the clock. Hey. Can I ask that, like becoming aware of this pain as information and granting it permission to be with me and saying, like,
trying to understand
it and not just detest it. Because sometimes for us as like physical beings, sensations might seem uncomfortable, but it could be valuable information. And trying to just medicate everything and push everything away to fix everything. Yeah. You're not listening to the wisdom of your body, which is actually kind of a big part of your holistic voice.
Really?
My program, like the wisdom in your body.
That's really profound. I feel like I have a lot of like body anxiety when I get weird feelings.
It's wisdom. And if you want to get really into it, like I have a lot of thoughts about this. I can't say for sure, but it's just a conversation to bring up that I think your body literally is like a psychic, spiritual being itself. That I think
absolutely
your body is like a spiritual, psychic vessel, right? And it has wisdom that you might not cognitively have. You don't recognize, and so why else would you have a gut sensation? Boom. Something is happening, and then you dodge, and you jumped out of the way of getting hit by a car. Like stuff like that happens.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All the time.
Or like, oh, why is my tooth hurting? And you go to the doctor and you find out something that's not to do with the tooth, but because you went at that time, you caught cancer or some. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like I just made that up, but there's so much wisdom and
the signs mean something.
The signs, all of it means something, and it's all connected.
I found this in my journal. On the first day of doing the exercises, I wrote, felt a strong vibration in my right foot.
We're twins.
Yeah, but it wasn't painful.
Mine
it was like
hurt.
A vibration. I didn't have any painful sensations. But at multiple points throughout the week, we would all be experiencing, like, that's something Chris Ramsey said as he kept feeling buzzing. I think it was in his hands or in his feet, like the entire week. We all felt like pulsing in our like foreheads, and that's something that's really cool about it, is it will make you aware of your body differently. So that's cool.
Well, we're electrical beings.
Yeah.
Your whole body is run by electricity.
Yeah.
And so all of these impulses mean something. And so learning to tap into that can have a lot of benefit.
Yeah, certainly.
Lots of benefit.
And so is that like, okay, so it sounds like these focuses and stuff that you learn, like you kind of try to teach yourself how to recall that stuff, like, after you're out of the experience?
Like the physical impulses, you mean? To recall that later? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like I'm curious because you mentioned on the big, the 3-part series that we did that you learn these focuses and then you can recall them later. Yeah. You can later quickly get yourself into those focuses. Mm-hmm. Is that based off of like physical cues? Like you remember the physical feeling or what?
It's a mixture of both.
It could be.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, like this is going to sound weird, but I know that I'm in focus 12 or above when I'm meditating, and naturally you want to do it with your eyes closed. And I'm sitting there, I'm going through the process. I'm basically saying the affirmation and doing the energy reball and the what's the box called? The energy conversion box. And I'm going through all this stuff, and then I'm sitting there and I'm doing what they teach me, which was, think of the number 12 and take a deep breath and let it out. And then you can kind of feel, at least for me, the sensation I feel in my body when I know it's happening is I can feel my eyes get much heavier, even behind my eyelids. And I feel them getting really heavy. And then when I open my eyes, everything around me is like distorted and like really
zoomed in.
Well, zoomed out.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like.
Yeah, like you can feel yourself, even though your eyes are closed, you can feel yourself getting heavier and kind of like farther away and less focused on everything out here. And then it's like, okay, open your eyes, and it's like, whoa, and it's like everything is blurry, and it's just there's certain things that you notice about how you feel and how your mind is feeling and how your body is feeling. You know that you're there. And I'm just talking strictly like if you're like out somewhere doing it without frequencies, like on your own with your own mind.
Sure.
I think that
you feel different.
Well, yeah, you feel different. And I think that I have traditionally been doing this without realizing it. And it's kind of given me a lot of struggles, like kind of having this altered state where when I'm around people, I struggle to talk to them because I'm not here.
I can definitely relate to that.
I get really zoomed out and I'm like not here. Totally. You could say it's dissociation, but I also do think that there's a difference between that because I can totally identify that because I've been there. But also there's like sort of the expanded consciousness state where it's like I'm just hyper present and hyper aware, but not in like a scary or anxious way. It's just like I am observing from a different part of myself.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It's like a bird's eye view. That's
how you can tell that
And I'm just kind of like, it's like everything is slow and I'm just able to observe. And then people talking to me, it takes me time to process what they're saying.
Wait, what? Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, yes. And then you can say
You
something.
forget you're like kind of a part of the conversation that's happening. You feel like you're just observing it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get like that sometimes too. I think that's like what we all experience in our family. Like I notice Junior's like that, Jeremy's like that. I just think that I got aware of it a long time ago and tried to like grab the reins of it.
I still struggle with that sometimes.
It's like just spacing out and just
it's
I
hard.
often feel like
like daydreaming, thinking about other things.
Always.
I think we all have we're all the same thing. We're all the same thing, and we all access it differently, and all certainly have and can. But I think it has been a bit of a problem for me.
Yeah.
Historically.
Yeah.
Is that something that you feel like the Monroe stuff has helped with, or because it has?
Helping understanding it, identifying it. Because if you can identify something, you can claim power.
Yeah.
If you can identify it, this is what this is, then you have the peace and the clarity and the power over yourself in the situation.
If you can't identify it,
it feels scary.
Yeah.
If you cannot identify it, you're either not aware of it or you're in denial.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you don't have
You may not have the tools.
Yeah, you don't have the tools.
You might, not be able to face this issue you have. Something I noticed about my post-Monroe integration is that I've been a lot more committed to health, eating better or feeling better about like my eating patterns and being like way more in control of like, nah, I don't want to eat. Maybe I want to fast. And just like committing to it without a second thought, feeling great. and exercise. I actually find that I'm like doing a lot better with, and you know, that could also be because I went through 3 months of like crisis level stress, you know, getting this house together. And then the day after I finished that job, then I went to Monroe, then I went to Europe for a month. So, you know, maybe we could say it's because, oh my God, my life's been so crazy for 4 months. I have my schedule in control now. But I'm just saying, like, I feel more motivated about certain things.
Yeah.
Like productive things, beneficial things, things that are good for me, you know? So that's something I never would have expected.
Well, back to the wisdom of your body, like your body thrives.
It wants to be happy.
It wants to be happy.
Feel good.
It wants to feel good. And
it wants to be healthy.
It thrives. And I'm not talking calisthenics or high intensity workout, crazy cardio stuff. It thrives with movement, with being engaged, being active. Doesn't have to be highly productive work.
You don't have to be an Olympic athlete.
No, it just wants to be moving.
It wants to be moving. It wants to be nourished, and it wants space to rest.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're just tapping into that really well right now.
Yeah, maybe. I was talking to Ignacio. I think it was that time that we were on the phone with him last week. And I told him, man, ever since leaving there, I've been getting the best sleep of my life. He was like, well, I mean, that makes a lot of sense because at least with Gateway, like I can't say this will be the same with Creation Station because I haven't done it. But when you're there for so long and you're doing it for so long, it has like a complete reset effect on your nervous system.
Yes.
It's like it like all of this intense meditation for days and days like profoundly restabilizes your nervous system, which is why a lot of people when they leave there, they, you know, might experience days of like crying or like traumas just like kind of being released and being able to integrate more with negative things that they've experienced in their life because your nervous system is being more balanced. It's kind of like shifting you into that like, it's like this, when you're stressed all the time, your body is very hyper alert and it's stimulated and you're like aware of threats and things that are a problem to you. But then when you finally are in that point where it's like my nervous system is regulated and I know that there is no threat, then the alert comes down, the threat response, you know, you're not like on a swivel looking for threats and all this stuff. So then the exhaustion hits, the rest begins, you get tired. Your body lets its guard down and it starts to catch up. Yep. Yeah. You start sleeping deep. You start being like, dude, there was like for 2 weeks, all I wanted to do was nothing. The other day, literally like 3 days ago, I finally said, I feel like I'm recovering from all of this stuff, from like the travel for a month and all of this stuff.
It takes
Can I tell you something funny? It was not funny at the time. Imagine my story from the first Monroe trip. And how profound it was for me. I changed. And I immediately got on a flight to New York City.
Oof. I forgot about that.
And listen, you are highly, highly sensitive after. And you're in a different perspective still. You're not grounded yet. And I go to New York and Jack and I are, you know, there for a couple days and we were going to go see a show. And we went to go see this musical. And it's objectively a good show. Okay.
Which one?
But it's called A Strange Loop.
Oh.
But it has some very troubling things in it. And I was highly susceptible. Oh. And this was the day after I left. Ooh. I was extremely sensitive. And there were I literally thought time stopped and I was stuck in it forever. It felt like hell. And I felt like I would never feel good again. Like the energy was so dark.
Oh no.
2 things. One was like very negative, like a sexual thing that happened. And then one thing was a religious trauma thing. And that's the one that really killed me because like religious trauma, hello.
Yeah.
And it was just like so intense that I left there and Ryan, what?
She's talking about something so dark
and sensitive
Alex, and personal, and you're just like stretching an alien.
Let me hold it. Give it here.
Like
give that.
She's talking about something.
I was trying to show Alex.
Who's the older sibling here?
Right. Exactly.
Anyway, that I was so mad. I was like, Jack, of all the shows, why are we here watching this after I just left Monroe? It was dark, but anyway.
How long do you think it took you before you started feeling that sensitivity?
I wasn't normal after my first time going there. I wasn't normal I don't think I've ever gotten what is normal, actually? What is normal? I don't think I've ever been normal again.
In terms of you're
definitely not the same.
Perception of your sensitivity levels, like you mentioned being hypersensitive right after you left.
I would say the hypersensitivity took some months to go away.
Wow.
Yeah, it could take a year.
Yeah, they say some people it could take years.
It was probably a year. And then I went back again.
It's in the grounding packet here.
I went a second time.
You feel like it just re-upped your sensitivity?
I've been once a year for the past, since then.
3 years, yeah.
So I went that year, then last year, and then this year. But yeah, it just keeps coming back.
So it feels the same. Like your sensitivity levels feel heightened every time after leaving. This is your third time now. And it was virtual, but the sensitivity was probably...
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I went to Walmart, and I was like... I don't like Walmart.
Walmart has dark vibes.
It does.
It was so intense.
That's where the killers be.
It's because of the tunnels underneath.
The tunnels?
Oh, man. I thought that was the White House.
Okay.
They're all connected.
Wait. Anyway, don't go to Walmart during the Monroe retreat.
Yeah, or apparently a dark play on Broadway.
So like for our case, because we're doing Creation Station, is it similar? Is the post experience similar where you're like in that heightened state basically?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
You would compare it to like your other two trips? Great.
I wouldn't say it's I would say
It's a good thing. It's a good thing to experience.
It is a good thing.
It's just like it depends on your perspective. Like
okay, I'll give you another example. I have a superpower. I don't drop. Okay, this is my like funny superpower, but it's a real thing. Like you can ask Jack. If I drop something, if it's an accident, I will catch it no matter what. If something falls, I will catch it.
Damn.
My reflex
Jackie
is just
Chan.
like I can catch anything. Unless you're trying to throw something at me and I know I have to catch it, I might drop it. But if something falls, I could catch it with like a pinky. Like, it's like a weird thing. But literally right after this, like for days, I was dropping the dumbest stuff.
Yeah, me
too.
I
was spilling things
I wrote it
everywhere, spilling water, rice. Like it was a disaster, which is totally not me. I was not back.
Is that coming from like a lack of coordination place or like a lack of focus place? Does that make sense?
I think it's more like
I don't
focus.
think I was coordinated with my body. Like I wasn't focused with my body.
So it's a focus thing.
Yeah, I think so.
I think the focus affected my coordination because I have great coordination.
I had the same exact experience. Like I even wrote it in my journal. Like for days, I was just dropping stuff. I'd be sitting there in the debrief and just drop my pen over and over and over. Eventually, I had to put it in my shirt pocket.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of questions about the virtual experience.
Yeah.
After listening to Ryan go on and on about the gateway experience,
yeah.
I'm just like I feel like being there is such a deep part of the gateway experience. I can't wrap my mind around spending all day at the computer doing these things, going into your meditations, and then like, all right, it's been a day, I'm gonna go make dinner, like, and be in my house and like live my regular life. So like,
well, for that whole weekend, you're not going to live your regular life. You're gonna, it's going to be Monday your regular life because it's going to be Sunday. The whole day is spoken for too.
Right.
Saturday and Sunday, full days.
What I recommend is
DoorDash.
Don't drive.
Sorry.
You're not encouraged to drive that weekend.
Yeah, you are not actually supposed to drive.
You're not supposed to drive. If you have to go somewhere, have someone drive for you.
Yeah.
But like Friday night when it starts or Friday afternoon. From then, try not to drive. Try not to go in public.
So treat it kind of like a lock-in?
Treat it like a lock-in. Treat it like it's a special retreat.
So like prepare. Obviously get everything.
Get your groceries.
Okay.
Yeah. I second that.
I was by myself that weekend. Jack was in Kansas for a pickleball thing. And I had to go to Walmart because I didn't have groceries. And I went after our first day. And that's why I was like, oh my God.
Wow. Oh no.
So everyone was dogging on me. Why did you go to Walmart? Walmart's gross anyway. Like, ew, Walmart.
Oh my God.
But yeah, don't go anywhere. Just treat it like it's really special. I didn't watch shows like I normally do. I did watch Sailor Moon, but that I felt like I had to. And I felt like I should be guilty for this because I really wanted to commit to this.
No, you were meant to.
But then later I was like, oh, I was meant to.
Yeah. For sure, you were meant
I felt
to.
called to watch this. So like, just be intentional with what you're doing, what you're eating, what you're watching.
I'm gonna watch Steven Universe.
Yeah.
And nothing else.
Yeah.
Would you go as far to like turn your phone off?
Nah.
You could.
When you're at Monroe,
You don't have to.
yeah,
I wasn't on mine. I
like-
didn't scroll. I didn't do any mindless scrolling.
That's what I mean. Like,
I
well,
didn't
I
do
would.
anything
I
like
do
that.
a lot of mindless scrolling in my free time,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
so
just-
I'm like, maybe it'd be worth complete log off
Yeah.
for.
I mean, it's like use it if you need it. You know,
Right.
You don't have to completely lock it away.
Put it in do not
but,
disturb.
You know, if your mom
Yeah.
or dad try to call you or something, like that's fine. But
Right.
the idea, at least when you're there residentially, is you want to try to be like away from the outside world as much as possible.
Yeah.
You're supposed to feel like you're kind of separated from the
Right.
mundane. You know,
Right.
I'm really trying not to like take any hopes, like specific hopes for specific outcomes into the experience, because I truly just want to be like a blank canvas
Good.
when I go in.
That's great.
But I can't help but have like
Yeah.
some subconscious things that I really hope come from it.
Whatever's
Yeah.
meant for you will be for you.
That's more so what I'm trying to settle into.
You
Is
just
like,
need
what
to-
I need, I will get.
Yes.
Yeah.
Focus on that intention.
Yeah.
And dude, like just take my experience for example. I had Emily and Dad's encounters in my mind and looming in the distance. Like,
Yeah.
surely I can't experience something that they did. This is so much pressure. And I literally went there at day one. I was like, I don't even know if it's possible for me to go out of body. Like, I don't even think I have this ability.
That's kind of where I'm at.
But
Yeah, it's never happened to me either.
It feels similar to me of like the first couple times I would come over to the house and not see anything.
Yeah.
Like,
But you
know,
did.
and eventually I did. But I remember feeling like, oh man, like I'm not part of this. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I
that's-
kind of feel that like not. I don't know, no imposter syndrome or not like devaluing
everybody there felt
myself.
imposter syndrome.
Okay.
If that makes you feel
That-
any better.
It does
just-
a little bit. Like it's
Everybody.
just completely new.
Chris Ramsey, love him to death. I keep bringing him
also-
up because our rooms were beside each other. I'm sorry, but I felt like
That's
you
okay.
should hear this.
Yeah.
Chris Ramsey's room was beside mine. So before and after every meditation, we would talk. Like, oh, dude,
Like
this
you'd be
was
the
crazy.
first person to.
Oh, yeah. We were always the first to see each other right after. And that's something he was telling me one time, like 3 or 4 days in. He just had this profound breakthrough. And on the way to one of the meditations, or it was right after, he was like, dude, I haven't known how to put words to it, but I've just had this crazy imposter syndrome all week. And I was like, in my head, I was like, damn, that explains how I'm feeling. I think everybody has that to an extent.
I'd love to sit down and us do an episode before.
Okay.
Like do a before and after Monroe.
Oh, good
That's a good
idea.
idea.
Like where
Good.
we just kind of
That's a good
do
idea.
this again, I think.
Good
essentially.
idea.
I
Yeah.
think that coming up for you though is something for you to marinate on beforehand, because you can work out that imposter syndrome at the retreat.
Yeah.
Like if this
Yeah.
is coming up for you, maybe make that sort of one of your intentions for the retreat itself.
Well, because it does bleed into everything else. You're
Of
right.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys will love Ignacio. He's a very bright light.
He is.
He's very wise.
And I'll say, like,
very tapped in.
Especially like
Yes.
with it being the creator thing, like the creativity thing. Like I feel like I'm the least creative. Like obviously, it's just a self-limiting belief or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like you guys have your music thing. All of you guys have your
Right.
music thing, and I'm just me. So I'm like, but
I
you
mean,
said
I don't
it's
feel
for
that way.
everybody.
Well-
I have hella
Music ain't
creative
the only
blocks.
art form,
Right?
buddy.
No, it's not.
Well,
And
also-
even problem solving, like you
Absolutely.
yes. And
So-
also, I'll say, something I've been marinating on is that your existence is just creation magic. Like the fact that
Yeah.
you're alive is
Well, that's
creation
true.
magic.
said. I mean, and I think it all goes hand in hand with like the manifestation stuff.
It's
with,
creative
like,
intelligence.
yeah.
That's
Oh.
like in Rick Rubin's book. That's what he talks about. Everything is art. Everything is creation.
You
Like,
are, yeah.
everything your eyeballs are seeing right now is like, you understand you're not like seeing exactly what you think you're seeing. Your brain is painting a picture of what it thinks your eyeballs are seeing right now. Like you are
Right.
constantly engaged in the act of creation.
What you're
Like,
saying is creating
yes.
an outward expression of your thought.
Like life
you're
is-
bringing it forth into the world. Like
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
whatever you say, you are creating it.
Yeah.
You're making it real.
That's right.
Yeah.
I heard something like don't talk about what you're doing until you're done because you trick your brain into thinking you already did it.
That's
and then
such a problem for me.
don't like actually follow through. So like if you have plans to do something and you say, oh, I'm going to climb the mountain. Like the more you say that to other people, the more your brain thinks the mountain's climbed.
Dude.
Which is interesting because like.
Yeah, no, I believe in that too.
Yeah. It's for sure a thing. Like I've had that problem 1,000%.
So are you
like
saying,
make moves in silence.
Yes.
So you're saying to not talk about it?
Yeah.
Beforehand?
Like, real G's ride in silence like lasagna.
Okay.
I think that is a difference though. Wait, what?
Because the G is silent.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
I love that.
It's a little Wayne lyric.
Yes.
I do think it's different.
I love that.
I do think it's different though than speaking and putting forth. It doesn't have to even be speaking. It could be writing or just starting the creation of said plan.
Yeah, because
you
it's
have to
interesting
bring it forth, but maybe not share it with others.
Right, because as soon as you write your intention down on paper, it becomes 49% more likely it's going to come true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's an interesting number.
No, that's like correct. It's like 48 or 49% more likely to happen.
But something that we did at Monroe was they're like, when you're trying to ask for something from your higher self, write it down. If you have questions for your higher self, think of the questions, write them down. You could even just think of the questions in your mind you could write the questions down on a pen and paper and then number them 1, 2, 3. And then when you get to the meditation, you don't even have to remember them. You can say, okay, what's the answer to my first question, second question, third question? And I think it's like, because when you write something down, your subconscious mind is sort of like using you as that marionette puppet to bind these symbols to that paper and sort of conjure forth the meaning of your words out into the manifest reality.
Right.
Because now these words were just thoughts in your little fucking brain.
Floating around.
And now they're symbol bound on a piece of paper. So I think
they're material. They're real.
They're material, yeah. That's what I'm getting at. So like, I think there is something very powerful to writing down your desires, your goals, your affirmations, whatever. And it's something that they make you do at Monroe. That's why they make you journal. They give you a journal. I don't know about virtual, but when you're there in person, they give you a journal, they give you a pen, and they're like, write anything that comes to you down.
Pick a journal. So, I don't
know about 49%, but I do agree.
Good.
Yeah.
It's just like how they say, like, you commit things to memory more when you write it down. It's like it's engaging your subconscious mind. It's like accessing your subconscious mind.
Automatic writing,
which is where the magic happens.
You know about automatic writing?
I think so, but tell me about it.
It's like the thing where they say, like, you just start writing and then like you'll be channeling some higher force and crazy stuff will start coming out. But
Olivia does that every morning.
That's cool.
Every morning.
That's
every
very cool.
Morning. Yeah, she's got a great little morning routine, and I sleep in. But my sleep in is 7 o'clock. So.
You know what? Olivia's kind of a boss, dude. I'm getting to know her better as you guys are getting married, and I'm like around you guys as a couple more, and I'm seeing you guys grow up and get closer and closer. And I have to say, dude, and plus she was in college the first several years I really knew you,
right? And
I have to say, man, like, she's a boss, dude.
I'm excited for her.
Go get her, bro. Like, you're in good hands.
No, she truly is. Like, and that's a lot of the reason that we're together is like, when things started, like, we've been together a long time, but when things started to get really serious, like, she was the most driven person I knew.
Yeah.
And I like myself, and I know what I'm capable of, but I knew that in that moment I lacked that drive.
Yeah.
Like, I was just a pot smoking teenager, and that's probably one of the things about her that I like the most.
That's awesome.
She's absolutely.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. Oh,
That's sweet.
There's some emotion under here somewhere.
Yeah. No, that was beautiful, man. Thanks. My advice to you guys, going back to the other thing, is look, I can promise you, based on what you guys both just said, I felt like a clone, like the identical feelings. And I literally went there the first day, and I was like, they're like, what do you expect? And I was like, nothing. Anything that I experience, I will be happy for. So just put it out of your head. Yay, we have a creation station coming up.
Oh, it's out. There's so much in between.
Right. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, don't think about it. I'm not saying don't be excited. Don't literally think about it, but like, don't, I want this to happen. I want this to happen. Don't think any of that.
I think I've processed most of that, and now I'm just like really excited and grateful that it's going to happen.
That's all you need to be.
Yeah, and I'm just like excited to see what it is.
And this will be, I'm not even really sharing as much about what we did because a lot of the visuals were related to prompts and things that, you know, we were doing, like tools and tasks. But I will say that, you know, even though I have experience, other people in there too were having things they were experiencing or, you know, that was shifting their perspective or that they were seeing or going through or whatever that was so profound that like literally, I won't say any names, but like the first exercise, which is like, you know, I don't know, it's below level 10. It's just like to get you going and there's like different things or whatever. He was like, that was wild. I don't know if I'll ever be normal again. And we're like,
was this the creation station?
Yes. Yeah. It was amazing. But, you know, as we all progressed, everyone was like, what is going on?
Wow.
Dude, skeptics come here. I heard stories of like,
even if they didn't see visuals, they were like, something's different.
Sure. Yeah. You can feel it. Yeah.
There's this one story that was told to me while I was there that there's this husband and wife, and the wife is like really into this stuff and was like, I gotta go to the Monroe Institute. So the husband was like, all right, I'll go with you. And then they get there and the husband starts having these like Charles Xavier, like seeing all this shit and having these crazy experiences, and everyone was like, yo, this is crazy. And the wife's like, what, you know, I was the one that wanted to come here.
Yeah.
And he was a skeptic, dude.
Right.
You know, but
he needed it. It was for him.
I was doing like how the channelers do with it, you know, in the videos. No,
and that's funny you said that because one of the, I won't say names again, but shout out to my program people because a lot of them listen. I love you guys. But someone else had an experience there that they were like, I felt like Charles Xavier.
Oh my God.
I was like in cerebral.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like
Cerebro.
Sorry.
Just, you know, open mind, open heart, and it's an incredible place.
Yeah.
I think that like,
I'm so pumped.
yeah, and most of all, it's fun, and you're in good hands. You have to remember, it's like, first of all, they have developed this cutting-edge technology that gets your brain to these states. It's not, you can't think about it like, I don't know if I'll be able to get to these states of meditation. Yeah, you will, because your brain's going to do it for you, because it's going to get to the frequencies. All you got to do is just follow along.
Yeah, that's not so much what my like anxieties were or whatever. It was more so like, man, I hope these specific issues get fixed with me.
Right.
But then I processed that and I was like, you know what? Like, it's going to be exactly what I need it to be, and I'm just excited now.
There's nothing to fix about you.
Right. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
It's like
think like a mixing board. Like you're just shifting the dials into a more optimal position.
Yeah, keep that perspective. Like,
You've got the gain up.
I'm gonna get out of this
high.
exactly what I need out of this,
or something.
Yeah, you just got to tune the car up a little bit.
Yeah.
Or the boat.
You get it.
In here. We find like a specific way to all relate to it.
Yeah.
You gotta grease up that excavator.
All right.
What's with that? I don't.
I'm just trying to appeal to the youth.
The youth.
And he points at me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you are the youngest.
You are.
You're what?
How old are you?
26 in a couple
27.
weeks?
You're the baby.
Baby.
You're a little baby.
Wait, how old are you?
Alex. He's 20.
Almost 26.
Almost.
I'm 25 and a half.
And a half.
No, I'm like 25 and 90%.
Well, what's weird is I've always been the baby, but I'm starting to like in places I'm like older than everyone, and that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. When that starts to happen, that's like the over the hill thing. You're
Everyone's like, wait, how old are you?
And Ryan
I'm like,
is.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
No, I mean, I was like, in all my other friends in my grade, I was always the youngest. So it's.
Yeah, I've always been the oldest.
Well, yeah, I'm the baby of my family, so I've always felt like the baby. I've always felt like the youngest. And now that I'm 30, it's like everyone around me is significantly younger than me. I'm like, this is weird. Like, this is a weird feeling.
Y'all ever analyze your friends?
Like, in what way?
Like, the majority of my friends are all younger brothers. The large majority of my friends are younger brothers.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm an older brother. I have a couple older brother friends, but yeah, the majority of them are younger.
Yeah, I guess the majority of my friends are younger brothers.
You start thinking of like the kind of people that you attract. Like,
are they? No. I'd have to think about that. I never thought about it.
Yeah. Well,
Never thought about it.
I'm more of an abstract thinker.
Because I have some friends that are older brothers.
All right. All right there, buddy.
Yeah, you're definitely an abstract thinker, man.
You're one of a kind.
That shirt gives it away.
Yeah, it does. You're one of a kind, bud.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So
are you.
I did want to ask you about bending spoons.
Okay.
Do you want to talk at all about like your second trip there?
My second trip there. Yeah, I don't know how much I can say.
Right. But,
yeah. But I do know that I talked about something that when I was there at that time. I talked about that on here. When I was above the house and all the stuff was happening in the house, and then I saw the lady and I saw that was that time when I went the second time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm allowed to say too much about that trip.
Yep, fair enough.
Yeah. And also with this one, it's really hard for me to not say too much about my music.
Right.
Well,
don't even go there. You asked me last night to make sure you don't go there.
I just don't want to go too much because
Seriously,
I feel like we could do another episode on that because there's just so much about it.
And we should absolutely 1,000% do that.
So it's like, if
Last night
I
she
talk
was
about
like-
this, then I'll have to talk about that, and it's like keep it clean.
Yeah. Hey, we got it.
She literally told me the one thing you cannot let me talk about is my music. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we are not going to talk about your music.
Yeah.
We have to save it.
Let's do a whole episode.
Yeah.
Whenever.
Well, what I can say, what's been green lighted is that this is the album I was talking about 2 years ago that everyone's like, when's your music coming out? And I probably shouldn't have advertised it, but it was just so significant for me at the time. Like I was finally writing music. I had unlocked all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so now the timing is starting to accelerate and it should be coming out sooner. I can't say a date, but it should be sooner and it will be in collaboration with the Monroe stuff. But I'll make sure everyone knows about it when it's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be good. Me and Nikki are working good.
Yeah. We're hitting like the momentum now. We're getting it done.
Yeah, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what else I can say about it.
You feel resolved?
I think everyone should watch, and only if you're gonna love it, watch Labyrinth.
That's the message for today.
That's unreal.
You heard it.
And it's funny because I wrote in here that the platform was labyrinth-like, and then like last night we watched it and I was like, oh, it was like that, and I didn't even remember that I had written that.
Wow.
So only if you know you're gonna love the movie, watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only movies I watch.
Watch a trailer first. If it
David Bowie is the Goblin King.
Yeah, but that should be enough.
Hey,
Ryan
Alex.
loved it.
No, I did. I thought it was very fun.
Tron's on my list.
The original?
They just announced the third
Tron?
one.
Watch the new one.
with the
Yeah.
motorcycles.
They just announced the third one.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I heard that they're going to be going into the real world. That's kind of crazy.
It's time.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It's time.
Yeah, don't even watch the original, man. I think, like, just knowing you, it would just be a complete waste of time.
Yeah, probably.
It is a very
The new ones are
aged-
great.
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah.
I do have something I want to say. It's something that I feel like a lot of people are going through spiritual awakenings, and I work with a lot of people in my program that are doing this, right? And it's it can be really scary, it can be really hard, and just know, number one, you're not alone, but also you can feel kind of crazy from the synchronicities. When you start noticing how things are connected, it can make you feel kind of crazy.
That is a great point.
And you're not crazy. And the more you sit with it and the more you learn and grow through this process, the more you can just have a deep-seated knowing of that was connected. And it's not surprising anymore. It's like, yeah, okay. Yeah. And it's to the point where it's like, oh, if you were to ask me what's been going on with you, it's like, well, I don't know how to explain it because I feel like everything is a synchronicity.
It does.
And I don't know how to explain it. It's so tangled.
Yeah.
It's like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have little pockets of time where everything seems like it's connected, and it's really, really hard to relay that to people, how everything is connected. Everything's a synchronicity. Like, I feel like Casey is going through that right now where everything in her life is a synchronicity. Mm-hmm. Every day she's telling me, oh my God, that we'll like get in the car at the end of the day and she'll be like, boom, unload like 5 different synchronicities on me every single day.
Yeah.
It's weird. You'll have like a 2-week stretch where it's like nonstop.
Right.
And then it'll slow down a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that. And then it's also, I guess, I mean, not everyone has the same experience for everything, but I feel like I will just hear or just feel a message and it's like, yeah, that's it. Like, I just know that this is true. If I something happens and I'm like, this is that. Or, you know, this is what this means, or this is why that happened, or whatever. I just kind of like have a knowing, and then I don't stress about it. Like, you don't need to stress over the meaning of the synchronicity. You don't need to stress over figuring out why this came up. You just have to know that it's information and it's popping up because you're becoming more aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
exactly.
One thing I see a lot with my students, and I'm sure, you know, we can all relate to, is like that desperate need to get to the bottom of everything that happens.
You can't.
And you drive yourself crazy. And that's when people start going mad. It's like, oh my gosh, I have to understand all of this stuff. And it's like, well, do you? Or can you just sit back and observe it happening around you?
Detachment.
Yeah. And I think that in itself, that permission can give a lot of peace.
Yeah. I tend to...
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Absolutely, it does.
It does. I tend to look at synchronicities more as a general sign.
Yeah.
I don't dig into the specific meaning. Just me personally. Mm-hmm. I just look at them as like a little nudge from the universe, like, you're doing good.
Yeah.
You're on the right path. Keep it up.
Yeah, and another thing is like the phenomenon showing up physically, like as an entity or an orb, doesn't, if that's not happening right now, I still get signs and feel them, and know, I have a knowing that they're there. Mm-hmm. And I see things that happen that I know is related to that, but I don't have to be seeing things. So I say that because a lot of people that experience things, or maybe they had unexperienced, they're like, well, it's not happening now. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? Why is that not happening? Am I not worthy anymore? Am I doing something wrong? It's like, calm down. Just pay attention to the wisdom that is in you right now. You're not being present. You're not being aware to what your body needs. Because the phenomenon, whether it's a tickle that you feel on your left elbow, or the light turning out, or an orb in your face, like, it's all related. Mm-hmm. And it's all just as relevant
and important. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's interesting you say that, because that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is like, I haven't seen anything in quite some time, probably since the last time we saw something all together. And I'll think about that when I don't see anything, but then I'm like, I don't need it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Like, I feel great. And
you'll
like,
see it when
I
you
know
need
it's there. You know, like, I don't need constant affirmation that they're with me.
Dude, it was 2 weekends ago we saw one together. Remember? At Olivia's birthday party that weekend with your friends.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, you did.
I was having trouble looking where you were looking.
Oh, really?
I don't remember seeing.
It was me, you, and Jennifer.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
We were walking Juneau.
Yeah,
remember?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But you didn't see it.
I had issues seeing it.
Oh, I thought you saw it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they know that you don't really need it.
That's kind of where I'm at. It's like, I don't beat myself up over it.
You're busy.
Yeah.
You're busy right now.
But I'm also just like, you know, doing good.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm very happy.
Yeah.
Very content. So, yeah.
And
I think you're spot on.
Yeah, and I'll share this affirmation that came up for me. I was supposed to come up with an affirmation, and like, what is it that I desire most? And I just got really overwhelmed with this feeling of gratitude. Like, I don't want anything. Like, I don't actually know what to say. God, I want this more than anything, because ultimately I have everything I need, and I just couldn't come up with any affirmation that would help me manifest something I desired. And so ultimately what I landed on was, I have everything I need. And that has been sort of...
It's the most beautiful place to be.
That's what I've been really affirming for myself every day. And because of that, even if you don't truly feel it in the moment, by restating that, you're making your brain believe it. Mm-hmm. And you're telling the universe and God and everything that you are welcoming the things that you need, right? The things that give you abundance and happiness. And so like by just trying to desperately pour your energy into things that you don't have that you want, it's kind of like
you're focusing on the wrong thing.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, you could be. I think it's more about the energy. Like if you want a new car, it could be the wrong thing, or it could be something that you want, and that's okay. You can want a new car. There's nothing wrong with that. But how are you managing the energy with that? Where is your intention with that? Mm-hmm. Like, do you really need the car, or do you want it because it's material?
Right.
Or do you want it because it would make you so happy?
Yeah.
Like, where is the underlying thing here? So just getting really fine-tuned with the energy, the energetics of, like, your intention and the things you say and want.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, like, at the beginning of this year was, like, one of the hardest times I've ever gone through in my whole life, and gratitude saved me from it. Like,
well, you can't experience anxiety and gratitude at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to trick myself, like you said, even if you don't feel it in the moment, just say it out loud to yourself. I had to say out loud to myself that, like, I'm grateful for everything I have. I have everything I need, even though at the time it very much did not feel like it. Mm-hmm. But eventually it clicked and everything started falling into place.
Good.
Yeah, it was really, I learned a lot this year.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot.
You've had a big year.
It's been a big year.
Yeah, I'm proud.
Very
for all
grateful.
of us.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of all of y'all.
Thank you.
I'm proud of this studio.
It's beautiful.
I love
it's lovely.
it. I love it
and
so much.
It's not done.
Not yet.
Right. Well, I feel like y'all know. I feel like this is my podcast too.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
I know that I don't put in all the work y'all do, but
No, I mean, I feel that way too.
I tell people
That
it's
it's
mine.
like our family, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm proud.
You got pictures to take.
Yeah, that's
I do.
true. You do have pictures to take.
You got pictures to take. We gotta say the outro line. You know.
Yeah.
All right.
Everybody feel good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we plugged you in the beginning. You want to at least throw your Instagram and whatever relevant things you
Yeah,
need?
sure. Oh, and I will say, I'm sorry for my Bledsoe baby people. This is my TikTok. I haven't been posting because I've been grinding at my business.
Yeah.
I've just been so busy.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's a lot of creative juice to post on different platforms
for sure.
that
It
are
is.
totally
You can't
different.
spread yourself too thin.
So I'll get back to it as I can. But yeah, my Instagram is Emily Holloway Voice. I post a lot of different stuff. Even if you're not a singer, I think it can be helpful content. But yeah, I also have a Monroe affiliate link. If anyone wants to sign up for Monroe.
Is that's
That's
on
in
your
my
Insta?
bio on
Nice.
Insta.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
It's always awesome.
Yeah.
We love having you here.
We have to do it again soon, you know. with
I'll
your
be
music
back
and
for
all that.
Riverfest.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be
Yeah.
fun.
Are you going to come stay with us?
In October.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Awesome.
There better be a spot for me because
Well, we'll figure it out. We will
it's
figure
going to
it
be
out.
good.
I mean, you got, hypothetically, if there's no spot here, I mean, I'm sure you got 2 other apartments that
We'll figure it out.
Figure
For
something
sure.
out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. So, you know the words, right? The magic words.
The magic words.
You ready?
Love y'all.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more, check out our other videos.
And before you go, don't forget to subscribe. See you next week. Peace.